Hi guys, Bomber here. Welcome back to the channel. And before we start, a huge thank you to all of my Patreons. If you want to join them and start supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description and the comment pinned down below. And with that said, let's jump into the video. I'm an HS Hearthstone player. Played it when I was a teenager, then returned when I was a bit more adult. I went to Legend a couple of times, and I always have been a free-to-play player. I quit the game a long time ago, but I never lost interest in it, as it was a big game in my life. So I still watch some videos now and then, check the new cards, and hear news about it. I heard that currently Blizzard's greediness really upset their player base, and that they are quitting the game. So I wanted to give you guys an alternative to Hearthstone. Legends of Runeterra. It is the game that I'm currently playing, and I'm at the highest tier on ladder possible, Masters. While I show you the core mechanics of the game, exploring similarities and differences with Hearthstone, I'm going also to show you some cool ideas which can nuke your interest into the game, as well as some tips and tricks to make you a better player and hopefully have the most satisfying first experience with it. First of all, even though it doesn't really revolve around game mechanics, let me tell you that lore free-to-play experience is the friendliest I've ever seen in any card games I've played. I remember that I could play a top meta deck from day one, I could play couple meta decks by the first week, and now I have almost all the collection completed in just 4 months of playing the game without any sort of inhuman grinding, but just by having fun with it. All of this without spending a cent, if not for cosmetics, which do not impact the game in any way possible, if not for, you know, be cool. The reward system is very generous, with XP granted from daily quests and matches played. The XP goes into the region rewards and the weekly vault. I suggest to win at least 3 times per day, always reroll for quests worth 1500 XP, and changing region rewards every 4 levels to maximize the amount of champions cards in the least amount of time. But that's enough of an introduction, let's dive into the core game mechanics. Here is the first big difference with Hearthstone. While Hearthstone has a turn system in which, while it is your turn, you can do whatever you want until you pass, and when it is your opponent's turn, you can just look at him do stuff without having any meaningful way to interact with them, except secrets, but come on that level of interaction it is child play compared to what you're about to see. Meanwhile, in Legends of Runeterra, every round both players draw a card, and one of them gets the priority and an attack token, after he does his first action. It is your action immediately after, and you can play a unit, a spell or a landmark, and then it is your opponent's action once again. While it is your action, you can pass and do nothing to give back the priority or action to your opponent. For anyone familiar with Gwent, it is basically the same system. When both players passes, it is the end of a round, and a new one starts. Both players draws a card, the other player gets the attack token and the priority, alternating back and forth, and both players get a mana gem. Which brings me to the next topic. This is both similar to and different from Hearthstone. Every round, both players get a mana gem, so it is symmetrical rather than asymmetrical like in Hearthstone, reflecting the nature of rounds rather than turns. Cards cost mana gems, so this is basically the same as Hearthstone. The only difference in these is the mana bank or the spell mana. Basically, every time you have unspent mana when the round ends, you can save or bank at most 3 mana gems for the next rounds, which can only be spent for spells, that's why it is also called spell mana. This is a great system which doesn't make you feel bad if you don't curve out as an aggro player, as you can save that mana for later combat tricks, etc. Even though it always feels bad to not curve out as an aggro player. Or you can cheat out big spells, turns before they were meant to be cast. For example, a 6 mana spell can be cast as early as turn 3, but you have to pass the first turn to accumulate 1 mana spell, and turn 2 to accumulate 2 more, for a total of 3. And then with the 3 mana gems of turn 3, plus the 3 spell mana that you accumulated, you can go for your big spell. There is a whole archetype built on this unique mechanic, and it extends to all spells, so a 9 mana spell can be cast as early as turn 6, or certain very big spells, which cost more than 10 mana, can only be cast with mana spell banked on earlier turns. Since we talked about spells, let me tell you about spell speed. Every card has its own speed. Units and landmarks can't be reacted to as they come down on board, and they give back the priority to your opponent. Burst speed spells can't be reacted to, and they don't give the priority back to your opponent, or in other words, you can cast them and it will be still your action. Slow speed spells can be reacted to, but can't react to other cards, like units and landmarks, meaning that they are reactive cards. Fast speed spells are the most complex but most intriguing ones. They can react to other cards and also be reacted to. Any card which can be reacted to, so slow and fast speed spells, goes on the so-called stack, and it is your opponent's turn to have a chance to react to them with burst and fast speed spells. If they don't react, then your spell resolves and it is your opponent's action. But if they react with a fast speed spell, the spell goes as well onto the stack, and it is casted before yours. Then it is your action again, and you can choose to react again, and so on and so forth. When the last player chooses to not react to anything and passes, then all spells are going to be resolved, last arrived, first served. MTG players will be familiar with this system. This system can get quite complicated quite soon, but it is one of the most interesting aspects of the game, giving it depth, skill, room for counterplay, making it a very interesting game. Now, I know what you are thinking, mana, spells are good and all, but how do you win? There are alternative win conditions, like decking out your opponent, particular cards like Fiora or Starspring, but the main win condition is to reduce your opponent's Nexus health from 20 to 0. There are ways to deal direct damage to the enemy Nexus through spell, and ways in which you can heal it, but the main way to accomplish the goal is by combat. The combat system is based off of attackers and blockers. The player which has the attack token, which switches back and forth every round, can declare an attack, by selecting his units and pulling them from the back lane into the battlefield. Once the attacker has declared this attack at any point during the round, his opponent chooses as he likes which of his units goes to block one of the attackers. He could even choose to not block any of them. Any attacking unit which was not blocked deals his attack stat to the enemy Nexus. Otherwise, if they were blocked, both units strikes each other, meaning that the attacker deals his attack to the health of the blocker, and the blocker strikes back, dealing his attack back to the attacker. Combat can also be reacted to by burst and fast speed spells. It is usually the most heated moment of any round. This is just an introduction of the core mechanics, but in any game, rules are made to be broken, so you can see lots of effects or keywords which have unique properties. For example, quick attack means that while a unit is attacking, it strikes first, and if the blocker is dead afterwards, it won't strike back, basically altering the normal combat system. Or elusive, which means that the unit can't be blocked if not by another elusive unit. Or overwhelm, which means that even if the attacker was blocked, it deals any excess damage to the enemy Nexus. There are lots and lots of keywords and unique effects, and I wanted to show you some of them to let you see the possibilities that this game mechanics could have. Champions are probably one of the most unique aspects of this game, and are usually the centerpiece of any deck or strategy. Champions are powerful cards, so powerful that there can only be a maximum of 6 of them in any deck. They also differ from normal units because of their level up condition. Champions have a quest, which progresses if they are on the board or even in the deck sometimes. It may be to cast a certain amount of spells, or that it has to kill a certain amount of enemies. When they accomplish their quest, they level up and become legends, gaining power-ups which makes them really stand out from any other card. Since champions have such strong and unique effects, most of the times a deck is built to work well with its champions, either to make them level up faster or to work well with their intended strategy. So okay, now you know almost everything there is to know about this game. You want to build a deck and start playing, how is it done? Every card belongs to a region. There are currently 8 regions with more to come, and any deck can have at max 3 copies of any card. All cards in any deck should be from up to 2 regions, meaning that there are 36 possible regions combinations, including mono region. Good luck finding your best strategy or champions combinations. Before I leave guys, let me give you guys some decks to try out for your first time, to both enjoy the game and also learn it while playing. Mono Demacia Midrange, a great deck for beginners, with lots of challengers to make the combat system feel more similar to Hearthstone while still learning its differences. Ionia PNZ Control, a great control deck if you like to always have the answer for anything, a great way to learn about spell speed and mana spell. Give it all Poros, a fun deck to get familiarity with all the keywords out there, and the cutest creatures in Legends of Runeterra. Elise Burn, the deck to start ranking with, for the most competitive players out there. If you want more detailed deck guides for any of those decks, I will leave you guys to the dedicated top 4 budget decks for beginners. Hope you have a great time with the game, and I'm waiting you to the top. So yeah guys, that's it. If you enjoyed the video and want more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also turn on the notifications, otherwise YouTube won't notify you of my content. Also, enter my stream so that you can interact with me live, as well as entering the Discord server so that you can interact and stay in touch with this amazing community that we are building. All the links that I just said are down below in the pinned comment and in the description, as well as also Twitter and Instagram. So that's it for this video, hope you liked it and find it useful, and as always, see ya!